Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for checking out the video. Southside Braves here. And today for you, I got Gridiron update for week 7 of the NFL. So we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the one and only game I got to see from start to finish last week. I had my last week of Sunday night softball. So starting this week, I should watch all the Sunday night games too. Steelers had a bye, so there's no Steeler game for me to watch. So the only one I watched from start to finish was Cowboys at Chargers, the Monday night football game. So that game went 20-17 Cowboys' favor. And to be honest, the Cowboys needed this game. They needed it bad after the whooping they took last week from the Niners. Dak needed it bad. Dak had been under a microscope, and he played pretty well. Had the big run early that kind of put Cowboys on top. And they kind of held throughout. Chargers were fairly disappointing in my opinion. Herbert specifically did not play all that well. And I expect great things from him. I think he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. And I don't think he really played like it. And Chargers kind of do what they do a lot, and they hung around and didn't win in the end. So, yeah, like I said, Cowboys needed it. They got the win. But it wasn't, in my opinion, all that well played of a game on either end. Cowboys did play much better than they did last week, like I said. But definitely, I don't think A+ performance from either team. But, yep, that was your Monday night game. Speaking of non-A+ performances, let's take a look at how my picks did last week. And 8-7. So, more right than wrong, but only by a game. So, we're going to try to do better than that this week. But, yeah, all that being said, let's take a look at the power rankings. So, your bottom 8, and every week I feel like I talk about the power rankings. We're going to kind of, as the season goes on, we're going to figure out who's the elite, who's the worst. And that, I think the top of the power rankings is so much in the air and so difficult. It could really be anyone. I think the bottom is starting to solidify itself a little bit. As you see, my bottom 4 didn't change at all this week. Panthers, Giants, Cardinals, Patriots. I think those are your worst 4 teams in the NFL. Broncos right there at 28. Can also make a case for it. Colts are at 27, but I think they're a step up from the bottom 5. I really think those bottom 5 are the competition for worst in the league. And to be honest, the Bears could be in here too. You're going to see them late on the next slide here. But I didn't want to hurt them too bad because they did have a really good performance week 4 against Washington, and then they lost their quarterback. And I think he's going to be out at least one more game. So, but I didn't want to punish them too much for that loss, but that's the other team that could really be joining this bottom page here. But for the most part, I think these teams have solidified themselves. See the Colts drop 8 spots into 27. That's for 2 reasons. One, this was kind of a big game for them. They had a decent record going into the game, playing a divisional opponent in the Jaguars for the division lead. So really could have staked claim on it, and they really didn't show up all that much. And news have come out that Anthony Richardson is probably done for the year. So that also really hurts the Colts. So the two things combined are why you see them take, I believe, the biggest drop of anyone on this list this week. Falcons are just going to stay put at 26. I think they kind of are what they are. Commanders climb 3 spots to 25. I kind of go back and forth on them every week. I like their defense, specifically the defensive line. I think I mentioned quite a bit. But I'm not a huge fan of what they got going on the offensive side. But I got them as the best of the worst here. So, moving on to the 17 through 24, your below average teams. At 24, I have the Steelers staying put. Again, this is probably a little too harsh for them, but they're almost like, when your kid's playing sports, you're allowed to be more harsh on your own kid than the others. The Steelers are my team. I can be more harsh on them than others. So I have them staying at 24. We need to score some touchdowns on the offensive side of the ball, and hopefully we do that this week, and we have us moving up. But for the time being, I got them staying put. Talked about the Bears a little bit already. I got them staying put at 23. Like I said, unfortunately, lost their quarterback in that game. He had been playing well. So we'll see what they do this week. But for the time being, I'm just going to have them stay put at 23. Raiders pick up a win even with Jimmy G going down. So they're going to climb 3 spots to 22. I really was hoping more for the Titans to beat the Ravens, but they didn't play a terrible game. But they're going to stay put at 21. You're going to see a lot of teams this week kind of stay put. Packers had a bye. I'm not moving teams on a bye. Saints fall 1 for their loss, and I believe this is coming up after Thursday's night's game. So again, this is not accounting for that game. So I know the Saints play on Thursday. I'm recording this before knowing how that game goes, but yeah. Saints at 19. Buccaneers fall 3 spots. I thought they were going to pick up a win this week, and I thought it was going to be kind of a signature win for them, but they don't, so they fall 3 spots to 18. Bengals stay put at 17. So now moving on to your above average teams, 9 through 16. We're going to see the Seahawks fall 7 spots to 16. I had picked them to beat the Bengals, and they didn't for me. They're kind of an up and down team a little bit. Every time I start to really believe in them, they lose one that I think they should be able to win, but they don't. So, but they're still here in the top half. Rams, I'm going to give them the respect that they've earned. They're a much better team than I originally had them. I think I had them 31st to start the season. So I don't think they're this caliber. I think this is probably the highest they'll be ranked all year. But let me give them their flowers. They deserve to be up here. I do hope the Steelers knock them out of the top 16 this coming week. Texans might be the surprise team of the year so far. They're going to be up 2 spots to 14. CJ Stroud and that team looks really, really good. So good on them. I thought they would be terrible as well this year, but I think they're the surprise good team of the year. Vikings climb 1 spot to 13. I'm going to be honest, I think they're one of 2 teams up here, one on this slide, one on the next slide, that I've left up here despite their record, and I'm hoping they're going to start proving me right on this. Vikings are one of them. Like I said, I'll tell you when I get to the other. You'll probably know when you see it, but I got the Vikings staying put at 13. Cowboys picked up a win. They're going to move up 1 spot to 12. Browns picking up a huge win this week. Upsetting the 49ers. They're going to go up 1 spot to 11. Jets picked up a huge win beating the undefeated Eagles. But they're going to stay put at 10 as the Jaguars have looked impressive for a few weeks in a row. So I'm going to have them jump them and go up to 9. But these are your 9 through 16. Let's take a look at your best of the best, 1 through 8. And here at 8, we're going to talk about the other team, much like the Vikings. 2 and 3, the Chargers are. But I like that roster. Like, they're becoming my new Broncos. Like, I believe in the Chargers so much, but they haven't proved it. So if they disappoint me again and they don't win this week, they will fall out of my top 8. But I'm going to leave them there one more week. Hopefully them and the Vikings both start winning some football games and prove me right on this, because I've left them up here way longer than I should have. But I believe in them. They're going to stay put at 8. Eagles and Niners both pick up losses to average to above average teams, I guess. The Browns with PJ Walker are a below average team, and the Niners lost that. And I don't know the health of Christian McCaffrey, and I think that offense is massively different without Christian McCaffrey. As much as we're saying, all these weapons and that, and Purdy and Debo and Ayuk, I think if you lose McCaffrey, every team has that one guy you can't lose, and I'm starting to believe more and more for the Niners, it's McCaffrey. You can't lose McCaffrey. I think that team is vastly more beatable without him, so we'll see his health. But I do have them moving down to 7. Whereas the Eagles lost to a Jets team where I think some people would say that's a below average team. I very much believe in the Jets. So I'm going to have the Eagles stay on top of the Niners, but I'm just going to move them both down 5 spots. The Ravens are a weird one. I got them at 5. They picked up the win this week. And to be honest, they could easily be undefeated. They threw a game away against the Steelers, and they threw a game away against the Colts. Both games they should have won. So I do think the Ravens are a very talented team, and like I said, very well could be undefeated, if not for either some coaching blunders or for like a historically bad day by your wide receivers. So, which also could have been coaching blunders with their wide receiver coach and the rugby ball and all that. If you know about that, that's weird to me, but I'm going to have them at 5. And then 2 through 4 here, they're all just going to move up 1 spot. Bills, Chiefs, Lions, your 4-3-2. All 3 have looked good throughout the year. All 3 are some of your best teams in the league. But at the number 1 spot, I'm going to have the Dolphins jump all the way from 8 to 1. That offense is the best in the league. That offense is by far the best offense in the league. Their 1 loss coming to the Bills, and it wasn't a close loss. So them at 1 and Bills at 4, I mean, that could turn some heads a little bit. but everyone has a loss at this point. The Dolphins won losses to a very good team, as opposed to some of the other losses. And like I said, their offense looks consistently strong. So these are my top 8. These are the power rankings. Let me know what you agree with, disagree with, who should be higher, who should be lower. I love hearing that. But that's going to do it for the power rankings. So let's take a look at the upcoming matchups and my picks. So, first, Thursday Night Football. Jaguars at Saints. Like I said, I'm recording this before knowing the outcome. By the time it goes up, the game would have already happened. So, but I am telling you right now, I am saying that the Saints win at home against the Jaguars. They're my Super Bowl pick. They need to start getting in the win column. Derek Carr at home with Kamara's been back for a couple weeks now. Hopefully Olave and Thomas get going. The Jaguars team's coming in hot. This is a hot team coming in, but I'm going to say the Saints cool them off and they get the win at home on Thursday Night Football. So now, moving on to Sunday. We got Raiders at Bears. Okay. And I know there is no Justin Field in this game. He is officially out, I heard. So, but Jimmy G's also out. We're going to have the battle of the backup quarterbacks here in Chicago. Like I said, I hear a lot of Bear things because of my mom being a Bears fan. And the Bears like this Bagent kid, or Bagent, or I think it's Bagent, this undrafted rookie in the preseason. I'm going to say he gets it done. We're going to say the Bears win at home with the battle of the backups. I lost my win-loss things. There we go. Yeah, we're going to say the battle of the backups. Bears win at home. Rely on that run game. Rely on DJ Moore. I don't know the stats of the Bears running backs, so I know they were all injured last week. So they got 5 running backs they'll use because whoever's healthy will get the ball. But this very well could be a very low-scoring game. It probably will be. But I'm going to take the Bears at home. But it's a toss-up with the quarterback situation. Next up, we have Browns at Colts. And I mentioned, like I said, Anthony Richardson done for the year. I don't know about Watson. I've heard off and on that he could be back this week, but I do not know. And I love PJ Walker. He played pretty terrible last week, though, even though they won. And I love Gardner Minshew. These are 2 of my favorite backups in the league. But we might have another battle of backups here. Once again, I'm going to take the Colts at home here with Minshew. But let me just preface this. If Watson's back, I would take the Browns. But I'm going to go under the impression that either he's not back or he's not 100%. I'm going to go with the Colts here to win at home. 4 straight backup quarterbacks that we're talking about in these games. So hopefully we get some games that actually have the starters playing. Because I think when you got battle of backups, it's a more randomness and a toss-up. So next up, we have Bills at Patriots in New England. But I'm going to be honest, this one's not tough. The Patriots are no longer good. They are not a good franchise without Tom Brady. They weren't before he was there. They haven't been after. And the Bills go in there and they put a beat down on the Patriots. Just the better football team's going to win by a lot. And that's all I got to say. Next up, we got Commanders at Giants. And there are fewer games this week. I think there's, is it 6 or 8 teams on a bye this week? There's a handful of teams. Last week there was only 2. This week I think there's 6. So we only have 13 games. But this one, Commanders at Giants. I mean, this one's a little tough. Both these teams kind of stink. I think the Giants really stink, even though they were 1 play away from beating the Bills last week, which is weird. Last week was a weird week. But I'm going to say the Commanders win this one on the road. I just trust them more than the Giants. This one's close, though. I very well could go Giants here, being at home. Neither team being all that good. But Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my Commanders pick here. They went on the road against the Giants. Next up, we have Falcons at Buccaneers. Okay, this one's a little interesting. This one could be intriguing. The Falcons were cool coming out, but I think their offense has kind of been, I don't know if figured out's the right word because there wasn't much to figure out, but they know what's coming. I'm going to say the Buccaneers win at home. Baker Mayfield and that team get a win. They've been overall fairly good so far this season, kind of a quietly decent team. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers to win this one at home against the Falcons. All right, next up, we got Lions at Ravens. So according to my power rankings, 2 top 5 teams. Ooh, this one. It's probably your game of the week right here. I don't know all the other games coming, but actually, let me look real quick. Chargers Chiefs is pretty good. Well, Dolphins Eagles is good too. Okay, maybe not game of the week then. I think that Dolphins Eagles is probably gonna be game of the week. But this is gonna be a very good one. We got a handful of good games. So let me think for a minute. Okay. As the cat meows in the back, who do you got? Lions? Ravens. Lions? Ravens. I don't know what that means. All right. The cat's meow. A lion's a big cat. This is going to be weird to say. If both teams play perfect, I think I go with the Ravens. But, again, I think it's the first time in my lifetime I've ever said this. I think I trust the Lions more to be consistent than I do the Ravens. I'm going to say that the Lions win this one on the road. I'm second guessing it, though. Give me a second. Oh, this one's tough. This one's real tough. Yeah, we're going to stick with it. I'm not confident in this one whatsoever. Like I said, I think if both teams play perfect or play their best ball, I think the Ravens win it. But yeah, we're going to go with the Lions here on the road. We're going to say they go into Baltimore and they pick up a win, and people will really be talking about them as one of the elites in the NFL. Yeah. Let's do that. That's what we're going with. It's a tough week. It's a tough week for some of these picks. So far, the only one that's been easy for me was Bills-Patriots. But let's move on to the next easy one for me. Whether it's right or wrong, we all know where the pick is going. Steelers go into LA and win. So this is the time of the show where I justify why the Steelers can win this week. Our offense has been horrendous. Like, so bad. But we do get Deontay Johnson back, which should at least help a little bit. And we know what the defense can do. That crowd out there in LA is going to be 70% Steeler fans. It's going to be Pittsburgh West for us. Heck, they might play Renegade for us like the Chargers did a couple years ago. So I think we'll be comfortable. The offense, like I said, we're 3-2 and the offense couldn't be worse. Like, the offense cannot get worse from what we've seen. It has nowhere to go but up. So I'm hopeful the offense plays better. Imagine if our offense scored 2 touchdowns this week. If our offense can score 2 touchdowns, that's insane. Other teams expect that. We would take that as a miracle. So the defense carries again. Offense is going to look a little bit better, and we're going to pick up the win in LA. Whether that's true or not, I don't really know, but we know that's where my pick's going. So, and I know TJ Watt and Freiermuth both had injuries this week. Watt should be playing. Freiermuth, I think, is out, so that's also tough. Next up, we have Cardinals at Seahawks. Yeah, this is another one where I think one of these teams is good and one of them's not, so I'm going to pick the good team. Again, I don't think this is a Bills-Patriots situation where I think the Bills just destroy the Patriots. And it's a divisional game. Divisional games can be trickier, but the Seahawks are just a better football team. They should win this game. But I love seeing Josh Dobbs play well, the former Steeler. So part of me is kind of rooting for the Cardinals, but I don't expect them to win. Seahawks win this one in Seattle, 12th man there. So, moving on. Next game we got is Packers at Broncos. Packers coming off a bye, which Steelers were as well. Let me add that to our justification. We're coming off a bye too, which I was hoping was going to mean a change of OC during bye, but it didn't. But either way, we're done with that game. This game. Packers coming off a bye, playing a Broncos team that is just falling apart. Yeah, like I said, even if they weren't coming off a bye, I think I picked the Packers here. But especially off a bye, playing for a team that's not very good. Again, I still don't have a reason why the Broncos aren't very good. They have enough talent there. Yeah, they're just not good. Packers will go in there and win this one. Moving on. Next up, like I said, these are the good games here. Is this Sunday night? And then... No, it's not. Okay. This is not a Sunday night game. This is not a primetime game, really? I gotta fact check that. Is this really not a primetime game? It is not. The Sunday night game is gonna be fantastic. Monday night game should be good, but yeah, we got some good games. But yeah, Chargers at Chiefs. Chargers just had that Monday night loss to the Cowboys. So one let's say rest here. This is going to be weird to say, but I think I believe it. As good as the Chiefs have been the last 6 years or so, I actually think this year, if both teams play their best here, I think the Chargers are the better team. But I think the Chargers rarely, like once in a blue moon, play their best football, whereas the Chiefs consistently play near the top level they can outside of their wide receiver group. Like Mahomes has very little to throw to outside of Kelsey. But for what they have, they utilize it much better than what the Chargers have. I think the Chargers have more talent on their roster than the Chiefs do. But the Chiefs utilize it much better. They're at home. They have an extra day. The coaching matchup here, in my opinion, is so lopsided in the Chiefs' favor. Although I do like Kellen Moore, the OC for the Chargers. But I think the Chiefs win this one at home. And I do think I officially moved the Chargers out of my top 8 next week. But if they pick up a win here, they'll securely stay in there. But I don't think they do that. I actually had this conversation the other day with somebody that the AFC is so weird right now. Whereas the NFC, you kind of think, oh, Eagles or Niners will be in the Super Bowl. Some crazy people think Cowboys, but really, you get the impression it's going to be Eagles or Niners. And I did pick the Saints beginning of the year for a postseason upset, which I'll be rooting for. But realistically, Eagles, Niners. AFC, I think, is so wide open, and everyone has flaws that I don't trust anyone to get there other than the Chiefs. It's weird how the Chiefs are a little down this year, but I trust them more than anyone else. So, yeah, that's just kind of how I feel about the Chiefs this year, but I got them winning this one. So, moving on, let's talk about the Sunday night game, which should be your actual game of the week. Dolphins at Eagles. Oh, this should be a fun one. Tua versus Hurts. I hope everyone watching this knows their college story. If not, I'll sum it up real quick. Both went to Alabama. Hurts was the starting quarterback, led them to a national championship. When they go back to the national championship, he gets benched for Tua, who then wins the national championship. And then later on, Tua will get benched for Hurts. And then eventually Hurts will transfer to Oklahoma, where he plays well. So they had a lot of... I don't know if there's any rivalry between the two, but people would like to think there is, just because of them getting benched for each other. But yeah. So this should be a really, really fun one. And I'm sorry. While I'm thinking about this one, I just went back, and I'm going to do something I haven't done on this show before. I'm going to actually go back and change a pick. So we're going to... Something was stuck in my head. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That shows you that I always have faith in the Broncos for some weird reason. I almost went back and changed it, but no, we're sticking with the Packers. I'm not allowing myself to do that. Let's get back to this game. So yeah, battle of the former Alabama quarterbacks. And it's weird. Like, everyone agreed, or I don't know if everyone agreed, but I feel like it was the common knowledge that Tua was the better quarterback in college. Like, Tua was a more explosive guy. He was the better guy. And I thought when Hurts went to Oklahoma, I was kind of under the impression that he wouldn't do all that much. But he looked really good for Oklahoma when he went there. So, and in the pros, I think the question is very much up in the air between Tua and Hurts. I would take Hurts, and I don't think it's, at least in my eyes, I think it's Hurts by a decent margin. But I think there's a lot still to be written on these two quarterbacks throughout their careers. So both of them playing very well. Well, Tua playing very, very well this year. Hurts had a fantastic year last year. So, this is tough. I just put the Dolphins in my number one spot in the power rankings. Eagles just fell from the number one spot. These are the only two teams all year I've had in the number one spot in my power rankings, and they're going head to head. One's tough. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Dolphins this week. We're going to learn a lot about the Dolphins. If the Dolphins go in there and their offense looks like it has against everyone not named the Bills, I think the Dolphins are going to be very, very scary. That Eagles defense is good, though. I think they're going to find a way to slow them down. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win this one on Sunday Night Football. But if you get a chance to watch this game, watch this. This should be a fantastic football game. Like, this should be up there game of the year. I'll say, like, this would be my prediction 7 weeks in for best football game of the season so far. So, I'm looking forward to this one. But I got the Eagles winning it. And now moving on to your Monday Night Football game. 49ers at Vikings. So, again, 49ers coming off their first loss of the season. Vikings coming off a win against a quarterback injured Bears team. So, I mean, it should be as easy as the Niners bounce back, right? Right? That should... Easy decision. Niners bounce back. They're the better team. They've looked great all year. I don't know Christian McCaffrey's status. I don't. I'm going... This is going to be my upset of the week. I'm going with the Vikings at home. I'm going with the Vikings at home. Primetime Kirk Cousins comes through without Justin Jefferson. And that... Because I actually do this. They don't have Justin Jefferson. Niners... I don't like doing this while I'm recording, but I got to look up Christian McCaffrey's status. Christian McCaffrey injury. Dealing with an oblique injury, blah, blah, blah. I know that. Said won't have an official injury designation until Saturday. Well, that doesn't help me. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that he finds a way to play. I'm actually going to flip this. This is not going to be my upset of the week. I'm going to say Christian McCaffrey does play and the Niners win. But I will say, if Christian McCaffrey's out, I would pick the Vikings. I'm not going to change my pick next week and say, hey, Christian McCaffrey didn't play. I got this right when the Vikings win or something like that. But I just want it to be known that if Christian McCaffrey's out, I'd pick the Vikings. But I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey playing and the Niners bouncing back and winning. So, it's tough. There's a lot of good football games this week. A lot of tough picks. In my opinion, this was the toughest week of picks to make. Like I said, I think there was kind of one easy one. Bills over Patriots. And, of course, that'll probably be the one I get wrong. So, either way, that's going to do it for the episode this week. Looking forward to some football. Again, as it gets colder, a little bit more into the winter time, football takes over for me. So, super excited for this point of the season. If you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe to the channel and the video. Really would appreciate it. Trying to grow the channel, trying to get to 100 subscribers. Would appreciate the push there. Leave in the comments anything you thought about my power rankings, picks, things I got right, things I got wrong, stuff you would change. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, all that being said, enjoy some football this week. Check out the video next week. And I hope you all have a good day and a good night. And I'll catch you in a future video. Bye, guys.